I mean, they had to. I mean, it's kind of a cop-out. They have to. They lost a home game at night in an electric environment because they couldn't stop Louisiana State from running the ball effectively. So, I'm not certain that Henry, the quarterback, turned it over 3 times. But the reality is that LSU couldn't throw the ball more than 10 yards down the field. That's not the most important play of the game. And LSU did enough to win the game running the ball. So, a lot of people thought with Janarius Gates gone, I think they lost 2 other starters. This would be a problem for Georgia entering the season. I think the comparison between South Carolina and Georgia's line was one of the big reasons that Georgia was picked second in the East by a lot of folks behind South Carolina. And what's fascinating is, as Jay said, basically, as every Georgia running back has gone down, this offensive line has just performed better and better. Nick Chubb, he was the second highest rated recruit in Georgia, so they knew what they had, but as Joey said, he was the first string running back. I mean, that's how talented the stable was. Except now, there's nothing else in the stable. I do think getting a couple of those receivers back that are big physical receivers. Georgia's also had receivers that block well downfield. I think that helps a little bit too. But the offensive line has performed, I think really valiantly. Florida's defensive tackles are the key to the game. They got a pretty good, consistent push on the interior without Leon Orr against LSU, just not consistently enough. Bill Muschamp doesn't like to run with that much. So, will he change that up, knowing that he's playing a quarterback who's relatively limited down the field? Maybe. But, Florida corners better have their head on a swivel. I mean, Rick loves to do things that you don't think he's going to do, especially in this game. Joe Cox threw the ball deep a bunch in the first half against Florida. When he was the quarterback, if that's the comparison you make, I'd expect him to take a couple stops early in the game. Because Florida's going to be selling out to stop Chubb. If Manny does salvage any sort of rhythm, Florida's really in for a long day.
Well, the running game is clearly Georgia's strength on offense. It's also Florida's strength on defense. They've been much better stopping the run than they have stopping the pass. I mean, who are we kidding? Every week, it seems, they get burned over the top. Alabama, Missouri, LSU, the big play to Traven Durrell. You let a freshman quarterback on 3rd and 25 hit Traven Durrell, who's wide open. And that really won them the game. Without that, the game's over and Florida wins. Among other things, but that was the big thing. Without that, Florida wins. Can they avoid getting burned by Hudson Mason and Georgia?
I witnessed it 2 weeks ago. They did. They didn't let any big plays happen by Matty Mock. Matty Mock was non-existent in that game.
Yeah, but they didn't have to do anything. Think about it. They're up 7-0 before they even touch the ball. And then they get one drive later, it's 14-0 after, the Gators give them touchdowns. They didn't have to throw deep. Why would you bother? Just run the ball, bleed the clock, and let Florida screw it up and give it to you. Yeah, but so I'm saying, why would Mock even try to beat them deep?
He did. He had about 3 or 4 passes that were just, I don't know what they were, and he tried to throw a lot of fade routes in the end zone that either got tipped or got batted down or were just errant throws. And he had one where he tried to throw a post to his receiver about 35, 40 yards down the field, and he overthrew the guy by about 20 yards.
Yeah, I remember that. That was Marcus Murphy. But it doesn't. It's not like he was really trying. It's not like Missouri's offense was trying to pick up yards in chunks. That was just Mock saying, "Oh, I think I see it. Let's just try it for the hell of it." It wasn't like Gary Pinkel dialed up a play that was designed to get them 30, 40 yards or so. So I don't really think it's fair to judge them on one game in which Missouri didn't even have to do anything. Let's talk more about games in which opponents had to pick up yards in big chunks, like LSU, Alabama, Kentucky, even. We got burned a couple times by them. Even Justin Worley of Tennessee burned us a couple times for big plays. Missouri's one game. Those are more than one game. Even everyone aside from Eastern Michigan. Okay, so that's 4 games. Everyone aside from Eastern Michigan and Missouri beat Florida over the top at least once. And I think actually at least three different times. I can count 3 different plays from Justin Worley that beat us deep, and I can recall at least 3 different plays from Kentucky, from Patrick Tolles that beat us deep. Missouri was it was one game. They didn't have to, but I'll give you that. I'll count that. Can they do it against a better Georgia team? That's really the key to me. And you guys both seem to think, well, we have to, so we're gonna do our best, but we have to. It doesn't really ring of confidence to people, and I completely understand why. I don't think we're going to, but you guys are saying we have to. I don't know if we can, but we're gonna have to win, and I'm sitting here thinking I don't think we're going to.
Florida, one of the things he's done great this year. I know, it's shocking on an all kinds of weather podcast. And full credit to Will Muschamp for making the adjustment after the Alabama game with his secondary. They have improved. Okay, now there's no excuse for what happened on the plays to Darrell. Because since SEC media did, and LSU had one guy that could beat you over the top. I don't care about safety and miscommunication. I'm sure Joey agrees with me. You know who they're going to throw the ball to in that play? Or, why are you blowing the coverage? That's ridiculous. That said, Muschamp likes to do a lot of this, man corner cover zone with the safeties. And it's an NFL look. And, maybe it's just too complicated for a young secondary, so he simplified things. Just like he said he was going to do. He said if we need to play zone, we'll just play too high. And they've done that, and it's been a lot better, except for that play. So I think full credit to Will Muschamp for that. And, as Joey pointed out, this isn't a guy that has really beaten anybody over the top with his arm. It's fascinating that I think he's like 4th or 5th in the SEC in passing efficiency, which is terrific. But he's last in yards per attempt. Sorry, he's second to last. Only Jeff Driscoll.
That's great.
By 1.9 yards. That's how bad Jeffrey is.
Oh, we never really were out to defend Jeff Driscoll as a quarterback. That was never really the goal of this. But now I'm going to inject my personal opinion. I'm going to stop playing host to this. I'm going to inject my own personal opinion. The fact is, Will Muschamp's secondary is extremely young across the board. Not just safeties. Their corners are young. I know Vernon Hargreaves is a fantastic corner. He's still young. Everybody else in that corner, every name you could possibly list, from starters to scout teams, they're young. Brian Poole, Keanu Neal, Jabari Gorman, Hargreaves is young, although Gorman is a junior, I think, but still, he doesn't have a ton of playing experience. Duke Dawson, Jalen Tabor, they're all very, very young. And I know that safety play is key to Will Muschamp's defense, otherwise the defense is screwed. But the rest of the defense is so good. I mean, look at it. You have Fowler, Jonathan Bullard, Leon Orr, Darius Cummings. These are all guys who I could see being NFL starters within 5 years. I really do. I think Orr and Cummings have work to do, but they can get there. I would not be surprised. McAllister, well, he's young. That's true. And then the linebackers, Morrison, all of them. They're all going to be starting someday. For a secondary I know it's young, I know they're talented, but for that secondary to be holding this defense back as much as it is a little concerning to me. And I think they have improved since Alabama. But the problem is it hasn't been by enough to make a difference. And there are so many other problems on this team. Let's be real. There's so many other problems. Special teams, the quarterback play, the offensive line, the drop passes and whatnot, that Will Muschamp can't do a whole lot with the defense. He can't switch his safeties to line and have the linebackers call the shots. He can't do anything with them. So I think that I'm actually going to credit Muschamp. I'm going to say that for what he's been able to do with the time he has with his defense, he's done a good job with it. I don't think it's going to be enough to stop Georgia from beating them over the top. I'm going to answer my own question. No, I don't think they can do it. That's there you go. I know, just like you said, in all kinds of weather podcasts, I don't think they're going to be able to do it.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but I couldn't believe it anymore in my heart. Could you imagine Will Muschamp's team with a good offense? We'd be talking dynasty at the University of Florida with the way the defense has played the last
Saban, right? Saban-esque.
It's incredible how much the offense is so handicapped that it's actually bringing the defense down, because the defense can't even afford to give up one or two big plays. Most defenses give up one or two big plays. It happens. But the margin of error with this team has been so small the last 3 years that this team can't even afford to give one big play. A 3rd and 25 in a game with an offense that can score shouldn't matter at all. But this offense has been so bad that a 3rd and 25, the defense looks at each other and says, well, we just lost because our offense will never be able to make up for what we just allowed. And it is so terrible that the offense has just handcuffed this team so much the last 3 years that it is incredible to think that if Florida had just a decent offense, not a great offense, just a decent offense, that we'd be talking SEC championship every single season.
Yeah.
But you'd be competing for them. I mean, of course.
You'd be winning the East. Put it that way. You'd be winning the East.
Yeah, you'd win your fair share of SEC. And maybe Kevin Sumlin and Will Muschamp will, right?
Yeah. Well, you know my goal. I want Kevin Sumlin to Gainesville and him to hire Muschamp as defensive coordinator. That's my dream. And you'd have it.
I'll wake you up in 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll wake you up.
I don't think it happened in 10 years. If it would happen, it'd happen in like 30 years, and it wouldn't be at Florida.
Yeah.
I don't think Will Muschamp's ever going to come back here. I think the fans would riot.
And I don't think Kevin Sumlin's going to leave Texas A&M. He has the run of the show there.
Yeah. Well, I give him about a 2% chance of taking the Florida job. Sound about right?
Oh, 2%, you said?
Yeah, 2%.
2%? Yeah.
That's about right.
I give John Gruden a higher chance.
Hey! You're. I'm doing a very extensive list on who I want to be the next coach, and we have just blown 2 of my top 3. So people are gonna know that now.
Neil Schulman's dream list.
Oh, it's more than dream. It goes from like long shots to reasonable goals to. Yeah, I think I have one that's just for laughs, like guys who are never going to take the job, like Chris Peterson. Like that level coaching was never going to come to Gainesville. But anyway, we've just mentioned 2 of the top 3, so now you guys know that we're gonna talk about what's supposed to be our offense, what's been posing as an offense for the last 3.5 years, really 4.5 years if you count Urban's last year. Florida has
Demarcus Robinson has been terrific.
Yeah, he doesn't have a real.
Was that sarcastic?
It's nice to have a receiver that has like more than 10 yards to catch for the first time since Bradley Cooper left Eagle.
He's been nothing short of pathetic the last 2 games in my
Yeah, I agree. He should be allowed to have those types of growing pains. And this offense is so awful that he can't.